Hello everyone. I hope that all of you worked on Gephi. As you notice in this unit, I just ask you to go ahead and start using the application without having a video in advance. Hopefully you figured out how to look at the data and how to visualize it. Please, if you didn't do that before watching this video, go ahead and try to analyze the data before watching this video. That will give you the experience in the future to analyze any tools, any data mining or web mining or any analytical tool that can be useful for you, and to see how you can use the tutorials and the videos that usually come with this kind of tools to manage it by yourself. I'm gonna go ahead and show you some of the things that you can do with Gephi. It's very interesting software developed in France in the laboratory of collaboration of a couple of people that from Lyon, from Paris, and also they have some kind of collaboration from Germany and from the Open University in Germany and Open University in UK. So I'm going to open the Twitter data, and I would like you also to look at the other data that they have on their website and just try to analyze the data. Whenever you open the data, you will get some kind of information that the system or the software Gephi will automatically recognize that this is a directed graph. That means there is some kind of relationship between the nodes. Here you can imagine the nodes are the users, and the edge is this kind of a tweeting between those users. So in our case, we have about 3,656 nodes, that means users, and we have about 188,712 connection edges. That means communication between the users. So each edge represents a tweet coming from one user into the other users. That's why it is directed. So go ahead and click on OK, and you will see that Gephi will start to somehow to analyze the data. One of the options that you notice that you will have to download the plugin. So will not come Gephi because they keep developing this tool, and it's open source. So if you are familiar with Java, it's really good and cool tool to embed it with other resources. For example, what I am trying to do with this tool is to create a recommender system to embed it into our hypermedia platform that can help students to have some kind of recommendation, like a recommendation that you used to it with Amazon when you buy a book and they will give you a recommendation of another book similar to yours. So I'm trying to use this open source code to embed it into my system and to find how I can visually do recommendations to users. So if you like to expand your knowledge, download the open source and try to use it. So anyway, periodically, that's why it's developers, a lot of developers works on this software. So you can see there is available some of the plugins I didn't install because they just appeared recently, and some of them, for example, I couldn't download them also on my machine. So you may go ahead, and if you see some of the layout that I'm gonna show you today and is not available on your platform because most likely you didn't download the plugin. So try to look at what kind of installation, what kind of stuff, like for example all those plugins I already have in my system, so that's why I will be able to see more layout available for me. You can use any layout of those that are available for you, but also you can see the quality of this layout. The idea of the layout is to help you to organize the network of this Twitter that consists of 188,712 edges in between in a way that you can see it better. Now, to know the quality of your layout, you can click on the eye and you can see the quality here is 3 out of 5, but the speed is 4 out of 5. So it is like reasonable layout to start with if you don't have a very good computer to work on that doesn't have a huge memory. So I'm using my laptop actually, and I have 6 gig RAM memory, so somehow it should be good enough for me. At work I have 32 gig, so this one will work very fast. So based on how your system gonna deal with Gephi, and mainly will work fine. If it crash, you just repeat it again and will work fine. So I would recommend, if you feel like it's getting slower, just close the application and reopen it again and start a new layout. So as you can see, it builds the data, and for example, for me, since I looked at this data, you can use it. I recommend you, if you're using your laptop, to hook a mouse, because with the roller on the mouse you can zoom in and zoom out, and it's like opposite direction, so you zoom in from here or from, and sometimes you lose almost your network, so you have this magnifier here that allows you always to bring your graph into the middle. And like, I cannot get a lot of information. You can see a lot of points outside, but interactions a lot happening in the middle. So really this layout didn't give me a lot of understanding about this network. So I'm trying another one, see if it can give me some kind of better analysis to this network, and try to see if it's going to work better. So you have to be patient on it. As long as you can see the right side working here. Remember, in Integrity you can always double click the right side of your window, so you can expand the window. You don't have to stick to the small window on the right side, so you can see very clear my screen capturing. As you can see a little bit, you can see community start to get structured here. You can see the split here that's happening, as if I have one cluster and another cluster here. So this it stopped. So this tool is a little bit helped me to see that I have and let's see the quality. See, the quality is not so high to this layout. So let us try the Force Atlas, and let's see, the quality is very high, so now it takes longer time, so I'm going to try it. So it's based on trial and error. Each layout of those, if you go to the reference and the tutorial, you will see is based on formula. That formula, it has a lot of entities. The most important one is the energy. It's kind of force energy that pull one node against the other, and the similarity between those nodes, which is each one of them here, we can consider it as a user. Based on the formula that the layout works on, will start to create some different communities in your graph. So at the end, you can see now the picture is more clear, that this community is starting to getting split from the second community. You have to be patient. That's one of the elements in using any visualization tool, or in general in data mining. You have to be really patient. And another thing to mention, that sometimes you don't really have to run Gephi to the end, because it's going to reach some kind of optimal sometimes, and you can stop it anytime that you feel like you got a good picture of what you are looking at. So maybe I can see here, this is community and this is community, and I can stop it and I say it's enough. So I'm gonna stop with this layout. I'm satisfied with it, just to let you know that you have a lot of tools here that you can use. If you click that one here, for example, you can reset the color of this node if you don't like them. Like if you feel like maybe clearer pictures, okay, and you just apply it, so maybe it's more lighter so you can see the community. Also, you can click on T, so you will have the name of the people that are tweeting. For me, which is you know, since you know what is Twitter and you know the concept of tweeting, so I can look at this data as following. Those people that they are in the middle, those are the one. Without them, you might end up having just this cluster separate than this one. But those are in the middle are the one that are a friend of the both community, and they are keeping this connection between the two community keep working. So this is one analysis that you can come up with. The other analysis that you can come up with, that those users outside, they are not really connected to the graph, and you can, like Photoshop actually, eliminate those. Like you just select, and what will happen actually, they will be deleted. Like right click on it after you select and you say delete, they will be deleted from the network and from the database completely. Now if you are interested to look at the data inside, you can go to the data laboratory and look at the data and see how it is organized. Before going there, I'm going to explain the statistical view here that you can get some kind of analysis. The most important one is the modularity. If you run the modularity, and usually I prefer not to use a randomization because it gives you better results. What it says, this is based on formulas that use the energy and the force between those communities to create communities and to find similarity between those. So based on this statistic, it says that we have here not only 2, but actually we have 5 communities, and the modularity here is equal to 0.434. And this usually ranged between 0 and 1. The higher the better, that means more accurate result. It was invented by Vincent, so it's a good thing that you have the person who invented this algorithms, and based on it, so you can go and investigate the formula if you are interested in. So a couple of people work on it: Vincent Blondel, Jean-Luc Guillon, and Renard Lambiot, and Etienne Lefebvre. So those are the people that they did create this formula that based on the modularity was invented. Other kind of algorithms that you can get interested in is based on the data that you're working on. So if I am working on data related to topology, which is the infrastructure of the web, like the logs, for example, I will be interested in the hits and in the page rank. If you heard about those, especially those of you who took the 496 course with me, they heard those terminology, because this is how Google search engine works, is based on hits and page rank. What else? If you heard about the small world concept by John Kleinberg from Cornell University, who discovered the small world, that anyone can be connected to anyone in the world by 6 degrees, by 6 friends, and like you can reach the president if you think who are the people you know by 6 friends in between. And and he proved it. And actually the concept of the small world is known long time ago, and in the psychology, and it was used by Ziplo in 1956 actually. So he didn't invent something new in 2000, but he proved it over the web. And at that time they proved it using the mail, only by mail, that they were able, with a small set of people here who use it on the whole logs of the internet. So it was big discovery in 2000. So there, for example, the clustering coefficient is really good to be used, since we have directed the graph here. So we can run this one and see the results of the clustering coefficient. This is one of the properties of the small world. So we are trying to see, is this property is good enough to claim that we have a small world in the Twitter data set. So this is another thing maybe you will consider. So the value is about 0.09, so 9% is very low. What else? Those are the most important things that I would like you to focus on. You can look at the data, as I said, by clicking on the data laboratory. If you don't see this window, sometimes you have to go back and just click on the data table again. You will see the data just sometimes disappear, but based on that. And this is what kind of data that those columns were added, because I run those statistics, so will be created automatically without clicking on those two statistics. You will have only those three columns in your data. Let us go back to our view. That is mainly what I want you to consider if you are looking at any data. Maybe what kind, like run more than one layout and run more than one modularity and find the best layout that fit this specific data. That's what usually people do. So you run more than one until you find the best, the highest number of modularity, and you will say, okay, this is a number, and that's accordingly I would say this layout is the best fit for this data, and I have this number of communities in my graph, and that was significant because the modularity is equal to this number. Also, you can play with the properties that come with each layout, so you can go deeper and look at the data in more details. That's it. It's a very short video, about 18 minutes. I hope that you will play more with Gephi. It's really interesting visual tool, and I hope you can give you some insight about looking into the data and looking how visually you can look at the communities and how you can cluster communities inside any data and discover more about your data. The best thing you do is to delete those dots at the beginning, so you clean your data. If you really want to work on the data professionally, you delete those, as I said, using this, and just try to click and delete, so your data will be minimized without noise. And then you run your layout again a couple of times with different kind of layout, and then you look at the modularity and you see how good the number is, and accordingly you decide what is the number of the communities your graph can be distinguished with, and then you will say, okay, I have this number of communities, this number of relationship between the users and between the ages, and then you find the most important players in this community. What other thing, the last one I would like to mention here, let me see. Here you can change the graph and the look of the dots just visually. So if you want, and you can use the weight as an element. Like for example, if I want to use any one of those, it can help you visually apply to enhance the look of your data. So I'm applying now. keep the color, and you can minimize. Okay, what else I have here? You can partition. Okay, I don't have any additional stuff to work on this data. You can see now with the coloring that a little bit more accurate the data, so I can read those people that are in the middle. Those are the main players that connecting those community together. That can help you to analyze the data. So it became 20 minutes video. I hope that is helpful for you. You can take screenshot by using this one here to give you a screenshot of your graph, and so you can save it in your report when I ask you to analyze any data. The most important to know the number of nodes, number of edges, the type of layout you work the best with your data, the modularity number, and to save a screenshot of your data. I hope you're gonna spend more time on Gephi. That's it.